So my money there's on not enough tech. That one, like, I don't know. We'll let the voting do the deciding.
Uh, oh, really? Really? God damn you all.
Hey.
Oh.
Clean win.
Alright guys, I promise I'm gonna stop messing about now. We're here to talk about this. This is Aqara G2H. And if you wonder what the G2H stands for, well, I wonder too because I haven't got a clue, and as far as I'm concerned, this is probably good to have. Well, that's the best I can do right now. But anyway, we are talking about ZigBee and Aqara. This is not the first time I came across Aqara ZigBee devices. If you remember, a couple of years ago I've talked about Xiaomi Mi Home Hub, which was basically a rebrand of Aqara Hub. What I really liked about it is that Aqara took a stand and didn't just give you a hub, they gave you a device that you could use. There was a speaker, light, you could hook it up to a doorbell or even play a radio. If you're interested anyway, there's a video there that you can watch about it. This time they're merging ZigBee Hub and IP camera. But that's not the only news, they actually actively targeting Western markets, which is great because up until now, Aqara's ZigBee stuff was available through either Mi Home or Chinese resellers. This G2H or good to have camera isn't available on European servers just yet. The plans are out there, so it's gonna be coming very soon. I've got mine on Banggood and it's indeed linked to Chinese server, but it actually performs fairly alright as it is, so I'm fairly confident to pass my judgment right now. Now, Aqara did send me some more of the stuff which I'm going to cover soon, and some of it is quite exciting, so you definitely want to subscribe and watch that. But today we're going to talk about this camera in particular as a camera and as a ZigBee hub because I have two new sensors from Aqara. So let's talk about the camera first, and we're gonna move into a function as a hub in a second. This is a 1080p IP camera which connects to 2.4 GHz network only. Pretty standard so far. Now there's a couple of things I like and a couple of things that are not so great about it. So let's start with the overview. You'll see that there is a microphone and a speaker, and the camera is able to detect the motion as well. Thanks to the integrated speaker and the microphone, you're obviously gonna be able to talk via app to whoever's on the other side of your camera. Button which once pressed for 3 seconds will give you ability to send a 15-second clip to a server, which you can watch it later. A great way to leave a message to whoever is watching on the other side. Hey, and this is where you can leave up to 15-second video clip. Just, I don't know, say hi or tell someone to buy some potatoes in a supermarket. I am ashamed to admit that it took me actually a while to realize that I can lift this up and extend and turn and swivel and pretty much mount wherever I want due to magnetic base, which you can fix it to a wall or even mount it upside down. That's great. Now underneath this you'll find a slot for SD card and a reset button. In terms of integration, there isn't much available for European users just yet, mostly because this isn't released on the European market, but there is a HomeKit integration and you can take advantage of a couple of cool features which, because I don't have an iPhone, I don't have access to, so I won't be able to confirm the Face ID using AI to recognize the faces and different target zones that you can use to recognize the motion. All of this comes with a free 7-day cloud support that you can use thanks to Aqara servers, and you don't have to pay a penny. It's not a trial, so it's not going to run out of time of usage, but if you want to extend that, there are options available too. Now let's come down to video, and I have some bad news. Now this is 1080p as I mentioned, but something tells me this is a 1080p upscaled. It doesn't look that great, especially if you point it outside, which leads me to believe this is a purely indoor camera. And by indoor, I mean you point it indoors rather than through the window. If you point it at moving trees or rain or snow, you get massive artifacts in the video feed, and that's just not really useful. However, if you point it indoors, there isn't much moving around apart from people, so the compression is much better and the a picture actually looks much cleaner. Now the voice conversations are passable and you can hear it for yourself how the microphone sounds like. The camera handles artificial light pretty well, so let's turn some lights off. It may not look like it, but you wouldn't be able to read the book in this lighting, even though it looks actually quite bright on the camera. And as I said, it takes actually quite a bit to get this camera into infrared mode. Despite an impressive resolution, the camera actually handles low light situations pretty well, and it takes a while before it has to revert back to infrared mode. And we all know how infrared mode looks like, right? So overall, in terms of indoor use, this camera is okay, but yeah, you're gonna find so many more better cameras to handle anything that basically looks through the window or being mounted outside. And the whole package is powered by USB cable, in this case micro USB. Now, in-app there is a couple of interesting options. You get a pretty standard preview window which you can use to, well, look up what's on the other side of the camera or make the call to the camera itself and initiate the conversation. Now the camera can respond to a movement or voice, loud voice, and start trigger. It will give you an option to give you a notification or simply start recording. That information then can be stored on Aqara server or locally on SD card. In my usage, I figured out that it's gonna be about 2 days of storage if you're using 32 gigs SD card, and that equals to about 10 megabytes per minute of footage. One thing that I really like is the ability to set custom colors in the timeline. If the SD card is inserted, you can scroll through the timeline looking up past events. However, you've got the ability to set colorful labels based on different triggers. So for example, a motion trigger from the camera could be set to blue, while motion trigger from the PRR sensor could be set to red, etc. And this is where the ZigBee crossover starts, because apart from being an IP camera, this is also a pretty powerful ZigBee hub with ability to store up to 64 ZigBee devices. It's not that bad, and if you're gonna get 2 or 3 of these cameras, you're instantly gonna end up with a pretty decent mesh network. Aqara already has an array of different sensors, including motion sensor, door and window sensor, vibration, temperature, water leak, and button. Now there is a list of devices that you can interact with, so this is a pretty compelling ecosystem after all. Now they've sent me 2 sensors, which is vibration and the latest motion sensor, which I've tested. Let's start with the motion sensor. And there are a couple of things that I really like. First of all, this is very responsive. You can trigger this every 8 seconds. Yes, this is insane. You can actually trigger individual movements every 8 seconds. Most of the sensors I've dealt with in the past, they had a minimum timeout of 30 seconds, if not 1 minute. Now, another thing that I really like is the fact that it measures luminosity. Now, the luminosity is being reported each time sensor reports the motion. There might be a timeout as well, but I was not able to investigate it. But it's nice to actually determine how bright it is in a room or outside and use those values to either trigger the camera or additional lights. Now, the sensor comes with this small stand which you can use if you want to, but you can glue the sensor directly to a surface. Another sensor is the vibration sensor, and the name might be slightly misleading because it's not just vibration sensor. It can measure actually 3 things. You can measure the vibration, tilt of the sensor, and drop. So you can use it in various situations. And while I was able to gently move the sensor around without triggering the vibration, the tilt detection and then obviously drop detection works pretty great. And I already have a use case for you. You can put it on the washing machine and use Nodle to detect when the washing machine stops vibrating to let you know that the washing is done. This is very similar concept that I've done with a power meter. So if you're interested in how to get washing machine notifications, there's a video there for you. Whether you like it or not, Aqara is entering Western market, and this is awesome because, well, it's ZigBee based and you can do a lot with ZigBee. Now, probably not with the camera. You can still use it as a baby monitor or something and use their app for that, but with the ZigBee sensors you'll be able to actually link it to whatever ZigBee ecosystem you want. In example, CC2531, which I use personally to connect to Node-RED, will accept all the sensors and you'll be able to tie them into anything you want. So with that said, if you're interested and you want to find out more, in the description of this video you're gonna find the links to Aqara products. Give it a go, see what's up, and tell me what you think in the comments. Alright guys, and as for now, you know what to do. I don't have a posting schedule, so if you want to keep in touch, well, YouTube is there for you, know how to use it. I'm not going to explain you that, but I would strongly recommend you to follow me on any given social media for extra bits, announcements, extra files that I share, and to keep in touch because it's fun. Alright, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.